The year is 2023, and you have yourselves a power play unit going out there featuring the likes of Jonathan Dahlen, Olli Juolevi, and Pettersson. The team? Not the Vancouver Canucks. It's not happening here. In fact, it's happening in Sweden. We had ourselves news yesterday that former Vancouver Canucks 5th overall pick Olli Juolevi has signed a contract with Timrå IK in the SHL. Now, this is not important. I'll be very upfront and say that this video idea doesn't really mean anything, but to the inner child, to the guy in 2017 that was making videos about Canucks prospects and guys like Dahlen and Juolevi, this was the person I was back in 2017. And so today it feels so poetic to come back around and watch how everything has unfolded. Take a look at this press release by Timrå IK. Are Olli Juolevi klar? I don't know what that means, but the cap-friendly reply here says that Juolevi has signed a contract to play for Timrå. He was invited to the training camp of the Arizona Coyotes on a PTO this summer, but was released a few weeks ago. This is doom and gloom for Olli Juolevi and his NHL career. This guy, man, one of the biggest busts the Canucks have ever had, especially considering the talent taken after him in the 2016 draft. It's been beaten down into the ground over and over again. Everybody knows it, but when Juolevi was drafted 5th overall in 2016 by the Canucks, the guys who went immediately after all became better. Matthew Tkachuk, Clayton Keller, Mikhail Sergachev, Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Chychrun. There are so many good players, other defensemen too, that happen to be so much better than Juolevi. All these guys have played at least 100 NHL games, except for Alexander Nylander, but Juolevi's only played 41. He has not been good, and the PTO getting released from the Arizona freaking Coyotes, the guy can't even crack the Yotes. And what a story that would have been if he had made the team. He could have played with Troy Stecher on a pairing. But, of course, he got sent away, he's no longer there, and now he's in Timrå, tearing it up, potentially, with a player that has been pretty much the poster boy for Timrå ever since, 7 years ago, Jonathan Dahlen. Former Vancouver Canucks prospect, a guy that was initially drafted by Ottawa, traded over to Vancouver in the Alex Burrows trade, and afterwards sent over to San Jose for Linus Carlsson, who is a current Vancouver Canucks prospect. Dahlen is 25 years old, so technically the same age as Olli Juolevi, and Dahlen at a time was seen as a potential top 6 forward to play in the Canucks system long term. This was because back when he was playing for Timrå in 2017, the center on his line happened to be a very good player that a lot of Canucks fans love today. Emil Pettersson. Now, I get it, this was a long time ago, 6 years is 6 years, but Pettersson was the number 1 center on this team. Dahlen was the winger, so when the Canucks traded for Dahlen and drafted Pettersson within the span of a few months, people were ecstatic. Hey, Burrows is old, he's getting shipped away, Dahlen's coming in here, now we drafted the guy whom he's got chemistry with. This is awesome. Vancouver hockey is going to be stacked, especially when Olli Juolevi comes out here and is able to play on the power play. This is before the Canucks drafted Quinn Hughes, so Juolevi was pegged as the best defenseman prospect in the system for this time. Give it a few years, though, and things don't work out. Jonathan Dahlen gets sent over to San Jose. There were some rumors saying that he wanted a bigger role with the Utica Comets, but they weren't giving it to him. Eventually, he goes back to Timrå, 2 more seasons there, comes over to San Jose, where he actually has a pretty okay season, 22 points in 61 games played. But as the Timrå-loving, representing, homesick Swedish player that Dahlen has been over the past few years, he goes back to Timrå once more in 22-23. He has 42 points in 52 games played, and at the time of recording this audio, he's played 7 games for Timrå this season and only has 2 goals. He's probably going to get more production as the year goes on. I'm not really all too familiar with the situation for Dahlen in Sweden right now, but knowing this guy, knowing his track record, knowing his point production and his sniping capabilities, he's probably going to go out there and do some good things this year. But if you go over to Timrå and their team for 23-24, you'll find an interesting name at the top of their points list. No, it is not the Emil Pettersson that was setting up Jonathan Dahlen back in 2017. It's Pettersson's older brother. Emil Pettersson is also on Timrå, and he's got 7 points in 7 games played. He had played for Timrå last season too. This guy was playing in the Vancouver Lakers system for a while. He was in the AHL. There were some rumors around saying, hey, the Canucks should trade for Emil Pettersson because that's Elias Pettersson's brother. That would be so cool to have 2 Swedish brothers on the same team. When was the last time that happened in Vancouver, right? But Pettersson didn't really work out in North America. He had some good seasons in the AHL, but decided to go back over to the SHL, the KHL, and now he's back in Timrå. So, seeing this lineup of guys, Jonathan Dahlen, Olli Juolevi, and Emil Pettersson all on the same team, it's so weird, because 2 out of 3 of these guys I feel like could have been legit NHL players. Dahlen in his only NHL season was pretty alright with the Sharks. It's just motivation, homesickness, these things were really a consistent theme in the way he was developing in North America. So it was really tough to see him just kind of get sent back down and go back home and not really be something for the San Jose Sharks. Long term at least. And this was a guy that back when he was on Pettersson's wing, back when he was in Timrå, like 2 times ago. You know, he's had like 3 stints with Timrå. The first stint he had, a lot of people thought this guy could become a 25 to 30 goal scorer in the NHL. He can snipe it. But that didn't happen. And now he's back in Sweden, which is okay, but it is just kind of disappointing to see how his career was not able to manifest in the NHL. Same could be said about Juolevi, although you could very fairly say that Juolevi just was not good enough to even justify being taken in the 5th overall spot in the first place. Back when he was drafted, a lot of people said this guy could become a top defenseman. He is a two-way, minutes-eating, puck-moving, puck-passing type of guy. And that's fine. But as his career went on with the AHL, he was in Utica, he was with the other teams, Charlotte Checkers, San Diego Gulls. Juolevi just never had the chops, nor I feel the work ethic to really become an NHL player. The small sample he had with the Vancouver Canucks in the playoffs and the bubble, as well as in the North Division season, I mean, we saw what he was made of there. He played half the year pretty much, but only 3 points. He wasn't really great. Juolevi was just kind of a transitory guy that was there waiting for other players to heal up and get healthy so that they could take Juolevi's spot in the lineup once more. So it was disappointing to see how Juolevi's career has gone. He'll go down as one of the biggest Canucks draft busts in history, I feel. And at the end of the day, there isn't really anything that we could project into the future with him. As for Emil Pettersson, I mean, his younger brother Elias is a 100-point player in the NHL, which is awesome, but Emil had his try in North America. It didn't work out. Now he's in Timrå. He's doing well over there. The best out of these 3, I would say. So it's going to be interesting seeing long-term what the Timrå IK have in store for their power plays and whether or not you could see a goal legitimately scored by Dahlen, assisted by Pettersson and Juolevi. Like, that's something we would have dreamed about back in 2017, but it didn't happen, and now it's happening in Sweden 6 years later. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this Canucks blast to the past, and what are your thoughts about each of these guys? I know Emil Pettersson was never a Canuck, but we did make a few videos actually talking about him and the idea of Vancouver either signing him or trading for him. Juolevi, of course, is a household name. Dahlen, you could say the same thing. There's a lot of lore intertwined with how everything goes about. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a Canucks fan, how do you feel about Juolevi, Dahlen, and Pettersson being on the same team in Timrå in the SHL? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.